best for my back. No, don't worry. Okay, ours is the second.
Normalmente imagino que lo minimizamos, ¿no? Para que... Hola.
Are we going to change afterwards to go next to the screen?
We can organize as we want.
No,
okay.
not now,
You want
not
to come
now.
near?
But maybe when it's our turn, we can switch places.
You need to be near the
To be near the
microphone
no.
and the video.
Do we have a mouse or something to control the?
I suppose they have
What?
the mouse. We have our presentation there.
Yeah, we have it. We have the presentation, but we have a mouse to.
I suppose it's ready. Everybody was moving everything.
This is on or off now?
Yes. I think it's time, so good afternoon and welcome to this panel titled Open Minds for European Citizens, to everyone in the room and also to all of you that are following us online via live streaming. I'm Andrés, I'm the head of the School and Adult Education Unit at the National Agency for the Erasmus Plus program in Spain, CEPIE. We are at CEPIE, the agency that manages in our country the Erasmus Plus program with the collaboration with national and regional authorities. I would like first to thank to the organization of this great Congress, the invitation to take part as moderator of one of the panels in the Congress. As you all know, Erasmus Plus is a widespread and well-known program and a success in the whole of Europe, thanks to many institutions and many public authorities. This is the case of the work in the dissemination and training in the context of the Erasmus Plus program carried out through the Departament d'Ensenyament in Catalonia. I would like to show my deep appreciation for their work. Erasmus Plus is the European Union program for education, training, youth and sport. It runs for 7 years from 2014 to 2020, with organization invited to apply for funding each year to undertake creative and worthwhile activities. Erasmus Plus aims to modernize education, training, and youth work across Europe. It is open to education, training, youth and sport organization across all sectors of lifelong learning, including school education, vocational education and training, higher education, adult education, and the youth sector. It offers exciting opportunities for participants from all European countries in the program to study, work, volunteer, teach, and train abroad in Europe. It also offers possibilities for innovation and exchange of good practices through the institutional collaboration in strategic partnerships, and this Congress is a result of the program. We invite all of you to take part in the program if you are not done so far. This panel intends to present some examples of the impact that the Erasmus Plus program has in the European education scenario. The collaborative work in school and in other educative institutions from different countries and the mobility activities in the whole continent are enriching for everybody. During this conference, you will be able to listen firsthand the voice of beneficiaries of the projects. We will be sharing a range of projects covering a variety of topics. We will see collaborative work for the development of entrepreneurial spirit, for the transformation and innovation in school, experiences in a changing time banking between students and teachers from different countries. We also get a chance to know more about internationalization in the field of higher education. And of course, we will be looking at transmedia project proposal through the implementation of new technologies in the schools, which, as you know, is the very core of this conference. Now, allow me to introduce to my colleague, Ms. Montserrat Montagut, the coordinator of foreign languages in the Department d'Ensenyament in Catalonia.
Thank you very much, Andrés. Well, first of all, I'd like to give you a warm welcome on behalf of the Department of Education here in Catalonia. It is a pleasure for me to share this running of this roundtable with Andrés Ajo. As he said before, from my unit and from the department, we have the aim of helping our schools, our high schools, our primary schools, to develop these so interesting and I think that so useful projects within the program of Erasmus+. Just a moment before, someone said, what's the relationship between these projects and the curriculum? Well, the truth is that there is a strong relationship between both things. Because our curriculum nowadays, the majority of them are competential. And so teaching in a competential way, what does it mean? Does it mean that our students has to know what sustainability is, for instance? Or does it mean that they must be able to run projects and to answer problems related to how to have a more sustainable environment, for instance? So I think that all these projects in Erasmus Plus really can help us to work in a different way and can help us to transform education. Well, let me introduce first of all our first presenter. She is Mrs. Antigone Komodiki. She comes from the 23rd Primary School of Limassol in Cyprus. Her project is called, well, the presentation at least is called The Future in Our Hands, Creating European Entrepreneurs. And the aim is to open the minds of young students to entrepreneurship. And as we will see in a moment, the project helps the students to develop a number of skills, including literacy, technology, research, creative thinking, problem solving, and collaboration skills, among many other else. We give the floor to Mrs. Komodiki.
Okay. It is with great pleasure that I'm here. I would like to thank my very good friend, Mr. Blasco, for inviting me in this Congress. My school's project is called The Future in Our Hands, Creating European Entrepreneurs, and it deals with entrepreneurship in primary and secondary education. From here. Okay. Okay. My school, the 23rd Primary School of Limassol, is a school with 240 pupils. It's a primary school with pupils from 6 to 12 years old. We have 12 classes, and it is located in the west of Limassol, in one of the lowest socioeconomic areas of Limassol. How this idea came, the entrepreneurship. I had some problems to attract pupils' interest in education. I wanted to minimize the school failure, to enhance self-respect of my pupils, and to develop survival skills. I forgot to tell you that all these issues that I wanted to change in my class came after the financial crisis in Cyprus in 2013. And how to improve my class level, how to minimize the unemployment of the school area, because many parents of our pupils are unemployed. According to the Everyday report about entrepreneurship in education at school in Europe in 2012, Europe faces a number of challenges that can only be met if it has an innovative, well-educated, and entrepreneurial citizens who, whatever their walk of life, have the spirit and inquisitiveness to think in new ways and the courage to meet and adapt to the challenges facing them. Entrepreneurship is one of the top cross-curricular priorities at the moment at the European education. But what is entrepreneurship? When we started to think about it, we thought it was just to create a business, but it's not. It's the willingness to take risks and to develop them, to set and to achieve goals. It is also to organize and manage a business in a competitive global marketplace that is constantly evolving. Entrepreneurs are pioneers, innovators, leaders, and inventors. Why we choose that? To develop life skills, to prepare pupils for real life, to learn by doing, and to make the induction easier in constantly changing societies. Most of all, to survive in Cyprus, that for 3 years now, we have no new jobs and new positions opening. This is about entrepreneurship in European education. I will go through it very fast. I should say that only Slovakia has entrepreneurship as a different and individual lesson in Europe. Then, after all these thoughts, the idea came, we made the application form, and our project started. This is our logo, which was designed by the pupils of one of our schools, our partner countries, Catalonia, Cyprus, Turkey, Slovenia, Romania, Finland, and Bulgaria. Cyprus is the coordinator school. Our goals: to meet several occupations, especially those using hands. Because in Europe, we have so many students that have finished university, and there are no places and no jobs to get, so they need to change ways in their lives in order to survive. And also to meet traditional and extinction risk occupations, learn by doing, put in practice what they see, to suggest, develop, and run small companies. Cooperate with business counselors, overcome the barriers between school life and real life, increase their self-esteem. Our project activities, I will show you the activities of my school, but it's more or less what all the schools have done during these 2 years. First, we had the warm-up activities to meet each other. Last year, we started with a questionnaire to see what occupations the children, the students would like to meet. We made the questionnaire analysis, and we started bring at school counselors, because we knew what entrepreneurship was, but we weren't the most appropriate people to teach entrepreneurship, so we invited the appropriate ones. In Cyprus, we invited the Productivity Center, entrepreneurship counselors for business, Junior Achievement, the organization that deals with entrepreneurship in primary and secondary level all over the world, company counselors, businessmen, women. Here are the 2 counselors that came and talked to the children about what entrepreneurship is, how they can develop business, how they can develop business that offer to the world, that they are volunteer in the weak people and they help them. They talked about social entrepreneurship, how to make profit in order to help the society. Then we developed an individual library at schools that all books were dealing with different occupations and entrepreneurship, both for teachers, students and parents. Parents could borrow books from the library. Then we had a volunteerism and active citizenship conference at school. From the pupils to the pupils along with the teachers, they organized and they offered it to the rest of the pupils in our town. We created our logo. It was like a contest for all schools, and we chose the one you see in the right corner. And then we started have at school different businessmen and women. We met different occupations like pastry chef or gardeners, car mechanics, fashion designers. That's a very innovative business in Cyprus. It's a Cypriot business that creates toys, like Lego, yes. We met traditional occupations like the Karagöz puppeteer, the baker, the silk producer, the embroiderer, the woven. Then we made a conference for the parents from creativity to entrepreneurship in order to achieve the goal that I mentioned before about minimize the unemployment of the whole area around the school. We educate the parents to help the children. We had a sports day to see athletics as business. We had very famous Cypriot sportsmen, football players, basketball players, that they said that the children always see the money and the fame, but for them it's not like this. It's very hard work, exercise every day, and lots of stress. This year, which I think it was quite very interesting for the pupils, but also for us, we created small companies for our students from 10 to 12 years old. It is really amazing to see that young children learn how to be creative, how to develop social skills, and be little entrepreneurs. Our school now is running 16 companies, from where most of the money will go to a good cause. At first, we brought business counselors to talk to them about how you develop a business, and then we brought some of the junior achievement mentors to talk and help the children develop their business. In each business, each pupil should have a role. It is the head of the business, the advertisement person, and the accountant. And then they start working. They developed their logo with the cooperation of a graphic designer. And we have these 16 logos. And then they start running their businesses, prepare the products, organized, coordinated the business, and we made a trade fair to sell the products, or some of the business that were selling food or sweets or etc. They were running at school. And after that, they prepared their income and expenditure accounts, profit and loss. This is the wood art business, preparing some wooden crafts, the graffiti t-shirts, super crafts with cards and other paper crafts, and the coffee shop, our love coffee shop, which is running during school times, sometimes during the year, and they sell traditional, they made some special recipes of drinks, including traditional products of Cyprus like rose water. Jewelry, fruits, and fruit salads and fresh juice. This is the trade fair in the most central point of our town. Lots of people came to buy things from the pupils. Now, that's about our activities. What do we do about dissemination? First of all, I'm here to disseminate our project. We have been to television and radio programs, not only the teachers, but also the pupils, which I think in that age, very young age, it's a great experience for them. We have developed our school's website. Also, all the schools that participate in the program have done the same. We have a blog, which is the one you see, and we keep updated. We participated in the National Agency of Cyprus Dissemination Day and talk on the radio. The children talked, not the children, not the parents, talked about what we are doing at the school. We have a Facebook page, which is Europreneurs Community. This is the Dissemination Day of the National Agency in Cyprus. Every 3 months, we have a project meeting for coordination and cooperation. The teachers that participate also develop several skills. I think one of the most interesting things to do as a teacher is to participate in such projects. That's our meeting in Romania, I think. And what we are doing in 1 month, we will host the project meeting in Cyprus. It's the last and the final one. And we will have the first Kids Entrepreneurship Festival in Cyprus. You are all invited. I will be happy if some of you manage to come. We can host you, we can show you around. During the festival, the children will present their businesses. Keep calm and be an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing with us. I think that's such an interesting and I'm sure engaging project for all your pupils. Let's now to continue with Mrs. Maddalena Degan from the ITI Galileo Galilei School, Livorno, Italy. Her school is the largest school in its area and it is attended by 1,600 students. The aim of the project, Safe European Itinerary, she's about to present, is to respond from schools with internationalism to the present-day challenges. Mrs. Degan, this is your turn.
Okay, it's me. Hello to everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I think this is a great opportunity for our school, for me in particular, after such a long friendship with a lot of you. I think it goes back about 4 years ago when we had some other projects. But first of all, I would like to present the greetings of my principal that would have really liked to be here, but she couldn't come. And I'm almost sure that she's following us in streaming. So as most of Italians do. So hello, ciao from, I don't know, a camera, whatever it is. Okay. Yes, okay. So this is the logo of our project, Safe European Itinerary. ITI is, of course, the type of our school, which is a technological school. We are preparing students between 14 and 19 years old, because in Italy we finish 1 year later than the average in Europe. And they are becoming mechanics, electronics, chemical skilled people. Some of them go to university, will follow to university, but most of them will work, will find work. Hopefully, they will find work. This is, of course, one of the goals. But this project I'm going to talk about is not a project, a key action 2, it's a key action 1. Because after working with some other projects like Comenius or key action 2 projects, we sort of understood that we had to work on the other side. So we had to consider teachers and staff and to prepare ourselves to cope with the future, okay? Because we want to send our students into the future, but if we are not able to support them in some way, maybe they're not going anywhere. So just a little information about my school. The datum of 1,600 is incorrect. It's actually 1,750 students and families. So I'm pointing out this because, as an average, let's say an average of 2 parents for each student, this means an enormous community in Livorno. Livorno is about 200,000 people. There are almost 200 teachers, administrations, organization staff, technical assistants in the laboratories, caretakers, and this is about the dimension of the school. It's very big, and square meters and whatever. 33 laboratories. Some of you have visited quite recently this school last year. And there are laboratories that need to be updated constantly, not only from the point of view of the premises and the machinery, but also in the people that are dealing with these machineries. So we had to start from a big question mark, and we had to be honest and to say, okay, we are a school that would like to be to project things into the future, but we have to be honest, and honestly we needed to analyze our school and the school needs. Also because quite in the latest July 2015, our government decided that it was the moment to change things, which with the National Guidelines for Education, which is known as La Buona Scuola, the good school, which created an enormous quantity of critics. You can imagine in a place like Italy, where if you have one idea, 100 people talk about it, and we don't go much further, but this was the idea. And we took the chance to say, okay, we want to cope with this. We have to face this problem. So we analyzed and we discovered that there are inadequate safety and risk prevention culture in our school and in our area. We needed updating structures and, of course, following flexible mentality, which is a big challenge. We discovered that we are working for the future, but really not so, not a speed that was enough. So we're quite slow. Teaching methodologies, clear integration among this discipline, transmedia. And this results in some problems because the rate of our school students' failure is a bit above the 10%, which is one of the goals that European is asking by 2020. And this is my fault because I'm supposed to teach English. This is what I do. I don't know if my students understand what I'm doing, but this is my effort. At the end of the story, most of our students don't reach the average language skills that they are supposed to reach. So we should be at least a B2, but they are not. Some of them do. Okay, let's see. So we wanted to face an ambitious program, and we said, so big results require big ambitions. And this is Heraclitus, so this is a friend of yours, I think.
We are neighbors.
And so we were looking for answers, and and we needed to, to organize all these needs, which seemed very, very different from them, one from the other. So we needed a framework. To tell you the truth, we already presented the project a couple of years ago with the first call in the Erasmus Plus, but we were just that far from reaching the financing, the grant. So we said, why? Only 5 points below? So something must be missing. And what was missing really was a complete framework. Instead of having lots of different points, we needed something to support all these ideas together, to keep them together. And safety was the answer. Safety is a word which means a lot of things related to a school like ours. Of course, study places, offices, labs, classroom, premises also. We already have plans, but probably we needed improving. Safe communication. So inside the school, relationship among, sometimes, how many times in our school we experience the fact that there is a document about, I don't know anything about that. Because communication is failing, so that it is not passing. So this is a result in not safe development of a project, of an idea, because some people are working and the other people in the next room, they're not knowing what is happening, which creates a lot of conflict, which is not positive. Languages I already told about. Intercultural dimension. We need to, be safe in the use of technology. We have children not of age, data protection, software, hardware. The prevention of failure. We need also to be more inclusive. We have a percentage of students with special needs, disadvantaged students, and they are part of the game, so they have to be in the story. And we need, of course, innovation. We are the part that we want to change things. So didactic methodology, CLIL, ICT-based didactics, and also improvement in project organization. So if we wanted to elicit money from Europe, we needed to prepare projects that are intelligent, smart, useful. Again, this risk prevention culture, we need more diffused awareness, especially in our laboratories, because we have had some problems. We deal every day with substances, with material, with machineries, and it's not only a problem of the teacher being there and the technical assistant there. It's a general awareness that students also have to reach themselves and the families as well. And, the question for sustainability. We want to be environmentally friendly, and I think we have two other things. Active citizenship, I'm not going to explain this. We want active future citizens in Europe, and we want to be up with the European goals by 2020. So, safety is a big word which means a lot of things. And the answer was a Key Action 1 Learning Mobility project, which was multi-purpose, so which could include all these necessary needs that we were expressing, and a global action for the whole institute. This is quite important because we used to go in some, they were called individual mobilities. Some teachers, about 10 teachers in the last 2-3 years went individually into some of these European projects, but it was just one person. And I'm sure that you understand what I mean. Not all other teachers were able to understand. So, oh, you're going sort of on holiday, doing 1 week in some places in Europe, and what is going to happen of your new things that you have happened, that you have learned. Dissemination is not so easy, oh, I'm busy, I don't want to listen to it. So we needed something that was involving the Institute as a whole. And this is the project we came out. So this is it. So the headmistress itself, she's going. 25 teachers are going in mobility. 3 people from the administration staff, technical assistants, caretakers, janitors, whatever you think, which means 36 people of the staff, which may seem not a large amount. It's 16% of the total amount, but much more than just one individual going and then coming back. And what are they going to do? The activities, oh, sorry. I want to go back. That's it, sorry. So they're doing these activities. We have one teaching assignment, Palamos, by the way, which is it's a way to pay back the money that Europe is giving us. So one of our teachers is going to show, give her know-how to another school, in this case is Palamos, talking about inclusion practices, and it will be an exchange basis, but we are going to have a good relationship, and it's a way to really to pay back with our know-how. 3 job shadowing, I'm sure you know what it is. So 2 of our teachers and 1 administrative also, they're going together and they are putting their nose in another school affairs so that we learn by watching and exchanging. Of course, this needs a lot of preparation on their side, and also the school that is receiving us is going to be it's a relationship, it's good. There will be 32 structured training courses. Some of them last 1 week, some of them last 2 weeks. Of course, languages is one of the main goals for our teachers, because CLIL is one of the things that the government is asking us to do. English and Spanish, because we have a percentage of students coming from South America and families that needed to be to have a relationship with the school, with the institution. Methodology, management, project planning and organization, and structured visit to school. This is important because we are going to 5 different, the other side, boom, 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 that's it. These are the destinations. 10 people are going to Great Britain, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain and Finland. And the structured visit to schools is important for some staff because this will allow us to compare things, how they are working in Europe. And so we want to learn from the other schools, and this will be very interesting. Okay. Of course, we needed to organize things, and everything is quite scheduled, really. So there are actions before, during, and after. I'm not going into details because this is maybe quite boring for you, but for example, for the language, the teachers and staff and also the caretakers are taking preparatory language courses. They have to do their placement tests, they will have intermediate tests, and then hopefully they will have language tests in order to have some certification, which is a value for the school, not only for themselves, okay? And everything is going to be like that. So we have some tutoring before, what is a key action one, what is safety, you have to be aware what you want to look for, because otherwise you just go, no? But you have to know what you are supposed to do. There are grids quite strict to understand what checklists, as what are you going to do there and what you are doing. They are supposed to keep a logbook during the mobility, so every day, and collect all the stuff they can. They're eating everything, which is important, because everything will be disseminated afterwards. We have a long-running plan, not only during the project, it is going to last until 2017, but we have already planned actions for the next 2 years and 2 years more, and hopefully further. Europe is asking to have these narrative reports from our mobilities so that we can publish and everyone can see what really has been done. And this should be developed also into e-training presentations and projects that we have already planned, but this will come later. Okay, to have all of these things going together, we need a strong management planning, and of course a project coordinator and organization committee, committee for candidate selection, monitoring and evaluation committee, area of destination team leaders, administrative management responsible. All what I want to say is that all these committees are independent organizations, so this will grant objectivity. So it's not the same people as it often happens. I'm here and then I work there and then I work there. So because the idea is of working together for the same focused task, and we need to be independent organizations. We are quite ambitious, and these are the expected results. 2015, 16, we are just at the beginning of the project, but sure, this will result in improved motivation. We have already seen some results about that. Developed cooperativeness, which seems obvious, but it was not in our institute. And then a suitable, safer communication, improved organization and project management, methodology, innovation, competent student support, reduction in students drop out, and all that, risk prevention awareness, long-term innovation planning, reinforcement of European values. This has already had some results. I can tell you about this tiny example. When we started, for example, a comenius project 4 years ago, it was difficult for us to find 18 families hosting the students coming from abroad, for example. Oh, what is that? Why Europe? Why, who are the other people coming to this school? I don't know them, from the side of the family. And we teachers had to explain that it is an opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we had another project, and the key action tool that this is transmedia, you know something about that. This was already done. So when I asked, do we need 10 families hosting the students who are coming? It was easier. And the other teachers also are starting not to look at us as if we were, okay, what are you doing? Is that for yourself? No. It's for everybody, so there is a vision and a mission that is involving really all the parts of the staff and the school in general. So I know that it's not fair to talk about money, but without the money, we are not able to do these projects. So okay. This is the amount that we were granted, which is exactly 100% of what we required. So it means that Europe and the national agency understood that probably the project was a good idea, that it could be supported in every part of it. No reduction. We are proud of it. These are just a few images of the two groups already have left for London. This is our coordinator, Professor. She's a teacher. And Antonella Ramacciotti, I want to say the name. And this is another group going to Dublin recently with their certifications. And when they came back, it was already, what did you do there? what happened? Can you tell us? Can we organize a meeting? We want to know. So the mood has changed in our school, and I think this is one of the biggest results of the Key Action 1 activity. So the last, I'm concluding, so from the seed to, I hope, the blossoming tree in a couple of years, I have to thank the people that made it possible. Our principal, the project coordinator, the third is me, and the staff working, the partners in Europe, Joseph Blasco and Luisa, I forgot to write, but of course also the Italian National Agency, which supported our project. And that's it. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say congratulations, because I think it's not an easy thing to manage such a huge organization in the daily day, and with all these different backgrounds and all that differences between the students and teacher staff, etc. And good luck with the project as well.
I think we need it. Really, thank you.
Well, now it is the turn of Mr. Josep Bofill. He comes from l'Institut La Miquela in Catalonia. This is a state secondary school, and his project is coordinated by a pre-vocational school in the Netherlands called St. Lucas. The aim of the project he's about to present to all of us is exploiting the benefits from peer-to-peer learning methodology in order to share basic and transversal knowledge. But as you will see, it is not only a project among two schools, but a project with impact on the school community. Mr. Bofill, you have the word.
Okay, I'm not used to talk in public, so at the beginning I think it'd be a little bit hard for me. So thank you very much for the invitation. On behalf of my school in La Miquela, the principal Kim Kullell and the coordinator Judith Sarat, I would really give so many thanks to the organization. I will talk about Time Banking 2.0. It's a project I'm coordinating right now. Just a few introduction of the project. It's a key action to Erasmus Plus bilateral 2-year project between secondary school of Institut La Miquela and the pre-vocational school of St. Lucas. Well, as you may see in the image, both schools are pretty far in terms of distance, but we feel really close to each other on working. Time banking, it's thought about as a way of give and receive to build supportive networks and strong communities. About the priorities of time banking, first would be the development of basic and transversal skills using innovative methods. Second would be the enhancement of digital integration in learning, teaching, and training, youth work at various levels, support of schools to tackle early school leaving and disadvantage, and the involvement of all students. About the methodology, we would like to give a shift on the teaching methodology. So from learning with the others, we would like to turn into learning from each other, which is kind of difficult at the beginning, but we hope we will succeed on that. So students from a similar age group, background, cultural or on social status, they will work in pairs or small groups to finally give something to the others and receive something back. So everyone would be able to provide to the peer with some worthy knowledge and learn something meaningful from another peer, regardless of the intelligence, popularity, personality, social status, origin, and so on. About the aims of Time Banking 2.0, we do have 6 big aims. First of all, would be to integrate and assimilate basic and transversal contents to promote ICT and language competencies. Second one will be to increase pupils' initiative, autonomy, entrepreneurship, motivation, and self-confidence. Third, to strengthen the feeling to belong to a group, to enhance positive social interactions in meaningful situations. 4th, to facilitate interpersonal relationships to fight against social exclusion and early school living. 5th, foster equity, intergenerational and intercultural cooperation. And the last is to promote active participation in society. I wanted to show you a mind map I did that it really helped me a lot about the distribution of the task. As you can see, we have distributed the task in let's say in three places. So La Michela, St. Lucas, and a different task that we will have to do together. So I have to say that I've just arrived today from the mobility to St. Lucas. So, for example, we did some workshops on 3D image, and we started working peer-to-peer learning with the students. So I have to say that it was really a good time for the students. They learned so much from our Dutch partners, and they came back with a lot of things to explain to the families and to friends. Just to, for example, as working together with St. Lucas, I will explain later about the time banking, but we will have to create 2 national time banking student teams with the respective time banking commissions. We have already created the association name that I will explain you later. But for example, in this case, it was our work to do association name contest. So the best 3, they were sent to St. Lucas, so they decided the first. And from this, as they are really good in 3D and creation, they will make the final logo. They will choose the best 3, and they will send them back to us. So we will choose the final logo for the association. I will tell you later. As a result of the time banking, as written in the contract, all the results will be integrated in the pedagogical framework of both the schools. As I said before, we have the aim or the responsibility, let's say, to create the first European school time banking association in Europe. So for that, we will have to write all the articles of the association, and the final step would be to create a directory of European scholar time banks. So we pretend from our beginning to invite, let's say, other schools from around Europe to join our project. This would be a long-term result, but we hope we will succeed on that. Also, we will, well, it's already running, but it's a multilingual website in Catalan, Spanish, English, and Dutch, in where all the information and examples of good practices will be posted. And finally, we will also have a rich section of tutorials and a large offer of workshops for both students and teachers. As you may know, the impact is that time banking will go beyond the project period, so I hope it will be like that. So we expect an active participation and involvement in a student's learning process and society, an improvement in a student's academic results, a raise of motivation and awareness in the learning process. So I hope students will see school something more than a place to go, eradication of social exclusion, decreasing of early school living, community cohesion, as I said, to feel part of a community and do some kind of social community works, improvement of intergenerational and intercultural relationships, the international of the school, of course, and ICT skillful teachers from both schools. As a conclusion of the project, I have to say that we expect to gain awareness of, we expect that the students, the pupils, will gain awareness of their own knowledge, what they know, and what they can learn from each other, to foster entrepreneurship and initiative by gaining ICT knowledge, to improve, of course, English level and academic results, to learn to work in equity and intergenerational, intercultural, and transnational cooperation, to achieve a greater personal development, to share good practice, learn from each other, and enrich themselves beyond the borders of their own community, and the involvement of local stakeholders will strengthen the ties to the local community and its needs. Also wanted to show you this. You cannot really see that clear because it's really a lot of things. So this would be the time banking mind map. It's flexible, so it means that it's continuously changing. So here's time banking and all the different parts of the mind map. There are so many ideas we have in mind that we are kind of, let's say, implementing right now, but some more will come. Just to say that we would like to create a method. As we know, there is an association already running in Barcelona, Salut en Familia. They are working in time banks in let's say, in the neighborhood and also in schools. So we will have to create our own method, not to copy them. And we are really interested on creating synergies. I don't know if it's the concept in English as well, between not only students and teachers, also students, teachers, families, local companies. Let's say it's gonna go so far, because also Europe is involved, so we hope we all get involved on that. And just to finish, that's the last slide. That's something, I really like it when I saw it on internet. We are all assets, we all have something to give. So thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. We are moving now from the school sector to the higher education sector. So let me introduce you the next presentation by Mr. Joaquim Carvalho from the University of Coimbra, Portugal. He's going to present the project titled It is Never Just Mobility, the role of Erasmus in the internationalization of higher education. The well-known Erasmus program is, in higher education is recognized, as all of you know, as an essential part of the construction of a common European cultural identity. Erasmus started in 1987, so next year, in 2017, we will celebrate its 30th anniversary. By then, nearly 4 million students from 33 countries will have benefited from the program. But besides the personal benefits for participants, development of transversal skills, improving employability, language learning, and others, some questions arise about the impact in other levels. So this project is about this impact. Some question like, does the program have another impact at institutional level, or how the institutional approach benefits the program, or what is the impact of the quality institutional organization in the mobility activities, or what is the difference between Erasmus in Europe and other international mobility programs in the world? Is there any impact at political level also in Europe? So, Mr. Joaquim Carvalho, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to be here. It's not very usual for me to be in a context which is not centered on higher education, so I hope I can be useful, but I wish to thank for the opportunity, and mainly to Nicolau, my good friend, for having invited. In fact, what I'm going to say goes very into the direction of what Madalena just mentioned. And it's a reflection at a higher level and at a wider level how mobility really changed the landscape of higher education. Mobility, of course, is a central part of Erasmus. It's what is normally associated with the Erasmus brand. So when people talk about Erasmus all over the world, they think about students moving. It's very funny, for instance, in Coimbra, the Brazilian students that come with their own grants, they say we are Erasmus students, even if they are completely outside the program, because that's the idea. And in fact, in practical terms, most of the money of Erasmus goes to mobility. So I will give you a little bit the context about what I'm going to say, where I came from, and what kind of information I have. And then I'll go on try to show how mobility changed the institutions, and through a close connection with the European project, created something quite unique in the world, which is how students and higher education institutions move and cooperate around Europe. And this has a global impact that goes further. So I came from this old university. We are in the same location since 1537. This is the wicked problem about parking we have that was mentioned this morning. We have it in a very high degree. It's similar here to Girona because the university is on the top of the city, and I think the history is also a little bit similar. The university is World Heritage by UNESCO since 2013, and it attracts lots of students. So in a population of 23,000 students, we have a varying number, around 15–16% of international students, and Erasmus accounts for more than half of the incoming and a big percentage of the outgoing. Also, apart from these international students, we have a very specific community of Portuguese-speaking students from Portuguese-speaking countries around the world, especially Brazil. We like to say we are the biggest Brazilian university outside Brazil, because sometimes we have 2,000 Brazilian students, which is 9% of all students. And the fact that we have this big community of Portuguese-speaking students is also something that we take a lot of advantage in managing the other international students. The second thing more specific is that we had this project, Erasmus Mundus Action 3 project, that was designed to compare how mobility worked in Europe compared to mobility in other regions of the world. And it was in fact triggered by the fact that in 2013, the Brazilians launched a massive outgoing mobility program called Science Without Borders that sent 100,000 Brazilian students, young people, outside Brazil. And this had a big impact all over the world. And there was a lot of thinking, and this project was to put together Brazilian and European institutions to think about this. And there were lots of working papers, and one of those was about the quality of mobility, how mobility was organized, what were the policies, the good practices, and impacts. Now, this is the context. I go now back to original theme, the impact of Erasmus. The impact of Erasmus is, first of all, the life-changing experience that it provides to millions of young people. When the 25th anniversary of the Erasmus program a couple of years ago happened, the European Commission produced a study that's through questionnaires and inquiries of students that had profit from Erasmus, tried to measure the employability, the international mindset, so their capacity to move, to live abroad, to make a life with a partner of a different nationality. And they came out with this figure of 27% of Erasmus students met their life partners while they stayed abroad. Yes, and I think that the European Commission got carried away with this number, and they tried to compute what was the demographic impact of this in the long run. So after these couples now settled down, now made their professional careers and decide to make families, and they came up with this number that is speculation that 1 million babies came out of the 25 years. And this, of course, the media went crazy about this, okay?
It's the romantic side of Erasmus.
Yeah. But anyway, the main thing is that it is by many measures, not only the potential babies, which are virtual because no one can really count them. But it's a life-changing event. The babies are important because they represent the most life-changing event that probably a person can have. But of course, if all these people are moving, expecting their life to change, you have to meet the expectations. And so this is actually a photo for our welcoming session in September. So you see all these young people in their minds. The sentence is, I came here to have a life-changing experience. Please tell me what to do next. So we have to provide for this, and this is not simple. This means that, like Madalena said, but this is at universities in Europe, this is a process that has been going on for a long time. The universities had to develop in these last 2 decades and a half lots of structures and systems and staff. And most international relation units that now are everywhere in universities in Europe, they began to manage the students that were incoming and to provide support for the students that were outgoing. For instance, my official title is Vice Rector for Internationalization and Mobility. And this link between mobility and internationalization is absolutely pervasive all over Europe, except probably the United Kingdom, where internationalization of higher education was not linked to mobility originally. So for instance, currently in my university there are around 20 people working on the International Relations Office. So they don't do just Erasmus and mobility, but that's their background and where they came from. And we have developed lots of facilities and strategies and how to deal with this inflow of students. So remember, we get like, with Erasmus and the other mobilities, we get like 1,500 mobility students incoming each year. Right? So it's, and when things in other parts of the world are going well, for instance, at the time where Brazil had a lot of money, this number could grow like 300 more from one year to the other. So it's a huge impact. But of course, other the personal experience, the academic relevance is very important. And what I will try to show you very briefly is that the impact goes much deeper than just having a group of people that manages the mobilities and gets everything organized. Because for these students to come and do something meaningful and go back with something that can be included in their curriculum, lots of concepts and tools and information must be in place. First of all, they need to find what we can teach them, okay? So currently the University of Coimbra, like all universities in Europe that participate in the Erasmus program, they have standard descriptions for degrees. So what the students see as information about degrees and course is the same all over the place. So the structure of the information is the same. So when you click in any given course, you always have the language, the semester, the credits. I'll go back to the credits, which are very important. And you have descriptions about teaching methods, assessment methods, and learning outcomes. And learning outcomes is a concept that entered most European universities because of the Erasmus programs. I remember the first time we tried to extract from professors the learning outcomes, it was very funny. Because what professors were used to make public is what you see there, the syllabus, is what they give, huh? So the content of the course. But when you ask them what are the students able to do after they take your course, so what is the learning outcomes, it was extremely difficult. I remember a full professor that in this the forms they had to fill initially, now everything is computerized. And in the learning outcomes box, he wrote a single sentence saying, the learning outcomes are good. And we came a very long way from that time, which was not so long ago. Now you not only get learning outcomes, everything is reviewed by quality assurance agencies that follow the same principles all over Europe. And concepts like the credit system, the definition of credits are today stable things. The ECTS credit system, so you heard about it, so it's a way to measure the quantity of work and effort that a student put in order to achieve a certain learning outcomes. It seems a very simple idea, but it's an idea that has a huge impact in the way the university is organized. This means that inside the program, the professors have to negotiate or define together where the effort of the student goes, because there is a kind of axiom that the student only has a certain amount of hours a year. And this amount of effort that you can expect from a student in a year is 60 ECTSs. So in a year, you have to decide where this effort goes. This seems very simple, but it's very, very deep, because it means that professors must concentrate on the student, how much time the student will need to achieve this. They must also get out of the idea that what is important is how many hours they are face-to-face with the students, because the effort of the student is everything the student does inside the class or outside the class. And so these things changes the angle, and from ECTSs are good and putting a number, a random number in the ECTS, we came to a stage that all over Europe, the way the credits are defined, they are monitored, so we assure that the fact the credits correspond to the actual effort of the students, so we can detect these professors that suck time from students, because you have a lot of that now. You have professors that either because they are very appealing in what they do, or because they scare to death the students, okay? They are going to fail if you don't study. There are professors that suck the time of the students. All this now, at least we have an environment to control this. We have questionnaires, we have monitoring, etc. And so this credit system, it's very interesting if you go through the CTS guide. It's no longer something so to allow mobility. Now it's something that is essentially when you design a new program, when you monitor the program, it's essential for quality assurance. It's essentially also to structure the information systems. And all over Europe, imagine that this effort, this little episode with the professor in the forum, this goes on for every course, of every degree, of every university that joins the Erasmus program. So it's a colossal amount of time and energy to do this transformation. And why was this possible? This was possible because there was a very strong political commitment in Europe to make it work. Because if we wanted a Europe where professionals could move freely, it was absolutely indispensable that each country could trust and understand the way these professionals were trained and how their degrees were obtained. So the basic idea that there is no mobility of professionals without a common understanding about the training is essential. And so you have, together with this Erasmus program, you have this other thing that in fact is a kind of political agreement on the key concepts that derive from the Erasmus mobility on credits, course descriptions, etc., that allow the European countries to get together and create this process of convergence that supports the mobility, but much more supports the automatic recognition of degrees, and in many cases of the professions where the professional colleges don't get into the way. And this became very attractive outside Europe, and it's remarkable for several things. First is that it's a voluntary process. So according to the European treaties, each member state retains full authority over their education systems. So it's not like the Commission is saying, you get together. Huh? No, it's the ministers that get together and decide to move forward. So it's a voluntary process. This is very important. And then all over the outside Europe, everyone became interested in this, and the Erasmus program was very clever by accepting inside the program those countries that were not in the Union but could eventually enter the Union in the future. And so this spread the concept and the seeds and the mechanisms. And today, what was called the Bologna process, so this voluntary convergence process is called the European Higher Education Area, which means a space where the countries share the credit systems, information guidelines, quality assurance, reference points, and much more. And so the ministers meet every 2 years or every 3 years now to monitor the process and to move forward. At the same time, the other extraordinary thing is, as the politicians were doing this and putting the money into Erasmus and to other mechanisms, the people in academia were also trying to get together and trying to answer these political changes by trying to figure out on their own, bottom up, if they could agree on some contents. For instance, what is a history graduate in Europe? What should such a person know? What is a chemical engineer? Is it possible to get together? And so in 2000, there was this project created by the universities of Deusto here in Spain and the universities of Groningen. They got together and they had this idea of getting people from all over Europe, at that time I think 15 countries, in 4 or 5 areas and see if they could together agree on reference points for degrees in their areas. And this was hugely successful, so successful that it was exported. And so currently there are tuning-inspired projects all over the world. And what do? They get together people from fragmented higher education systems and try to agree on what is the learning outcomes and the profiles for key areas of training. All this is much more remarkable when you look outside Europe. So for instance, this Science Without Borders project, so this was a decision of the president of Brazil, the one that now is. So the program in fact died, I think, last year, and what is left at level of PhDs is, I think, is going to disappear. But at the time, it was a very huge idea. It was to send 100,000 Brazilian students abroad, some at the undergraduate, some at doctoral level, and also to attract some researchers from Europe, from all over the world to Brazil. In fact, it became a mobility program. There were not enough PhD candidates to meet the goal, so most of the students that moved were Brazilian students in their second year of university, and they moved without everything else that the Erasmus program has. So there were no learning agreements, no common credits, nothing. Okay? So they just went. Okay? And in this project, we made a survey. I'm sorry, the undertitle, it's in Portuguese, but basically what the survey says that all these people came back, and like the European, they came back with a life-changing experience, if possible, even more so, because they have big, generous grants, over 1,000 euros, okay, for Brazilian students to stay abroad. When they arrive in Europe, they discover low-budget airlines, and then they just go wild. So it was really a huge impact. But the institutional impact was not there. For instance, there was no requirement for the sending and hosting institute to have an agreement. So in fact, the sending institutions in Brazil had no idea where the students will end up, because there were different systems of placing the students wherever it was possible, because it's not easy to place 100,000 students abroad. So there were no learning agreements. There were many times they had no idea about the degrees. There were huge stories of they got in the wrong degree because they misinterpreted the name, okay? Now sometimes things like, for instance, industrial engineering means something completely different in a country and another. And so they come back, and of course what they did abroad makes no sense. And so the low level of recognition is very low. We also have detected very few institutions made any lasting contact with the Brazilian institutions involved. There was some new cooperation, but it's so slight, so thin compared to what we have in Erasmus, that it allows us to understand that mobility is never just mobility. Mobility only makes sense inside a framework where there is agreement, transparency, shared concepts, and support for mobility of staff. There was no mobility of staff, no mobility of teachers, etc. So I just wanted to finish up. In the higher education level, I think mobility has become standard. So this is now business as usual. Hundreds of students come and go. There are very few incidents. Everything is go. But we are in a context that the barriers between formal education, informal education, school education, work education, secondary education, vocational education, higher education, everything is merging. And in that context, there are many barriers still. There are very puzzling things in the current thing. It's very easy for a student in Europe to go for a year or a semester everywhere else. But for instance, I will not bother you in details. The combined mixture of European treaties, local laws, and other things makes currently it's much easier for a Brazilian and Chinese student to finish secondary education in Brazil and China and enroll at my university than a student from Germany or Netherlands to finish their secondary education there and enroll in my university. They have to go through the Portuguese exam system because they are equal citizens. So that there's a lot of, so it's complex. We are not there, especially as we try to lower the barriers. So to conclude, Erasmus had an impact in Europe that is much more than just the kids moving and having a fantastic personal experience. So it changed the nature of the institutions, the concepts, the design of programs, everything. Even the grade systems were changed because of this. And this is what allows this thing that is called the European Higher Education Area, which is a huge space where students can move around in a perfectly transparent and quality assured way. And all the world would like to have this, so we should be proud. Sometimes we are in moments where everyone is saying bad things about Europe. There are things we should be proud about. But still, many barriers remain. And for me, it was very illuminating this couple of days, because I see many things you are doing, that we are doing in universities, many problems, but here, like in Portugal, universities and schools don't work together as they work in a formal way, teacher training and these things, but not really in the common challenges as much as we should. So many barriers to put down. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joaquim. Let me introduce now the next presentation, but by Josep Blasco from the Institut de Palamós in Catalonia, Spain, and Estela Eliedau from Dimikotiko Soleiu Drosias in Larnaca, Cyprus. This Congress is a magnificent result of the Erasmus project Transmedia, a new narrative that involves communication and education towards the future classroom. Since 2014, a group of 4 secondary schools from Italy, Spain, Cyprus, and Romania, 1 primary school from Cyprus, 1 teacher training center from Portugal, and 1 Catalan university, coordinated by Institut Palamós, have been working on the use of new technologies in education, and this conference is one of their products. I'm sure that, that Josep and Estela are going to show us their results and to answer some relevant questions about technology and education that are in the core of this conference, if, how to use new technologies in the school, how to use them properly, how they imagine a future classroom. Could we think that the use of new technologies is an opportunity to increase equity and inclusion in education, and so on. I'm very proud that this communication and this Congress are the product of an Erasmus Plus project. So the floor is yours.
To talk about the hundred of people who was working along last years, and that work take us to be here today. Thanks, first of all, to the University of Girona to offer us the space, this amazing place that for sure you will have a lot of photos from the cluster and inside. Thanks to all the partners, the one that you could travel to Girona and to be here, and a lot of them that they are in your countries, maybe following by the streaming, to the institutions, to the municipalities from Girona, Palamós, the other countries. When we were there, it was amazing to visit the cities, to the ministry, to our Department of Education in our government, to my school, to the principal, to the management team, to the colleagues, to the parents, to the students, to the Parents Association, to everybody who was helping and working, and so hard. And after that I think it was the first I have to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to the people who is here. Thank you to the people who thought it's interesting this activity, why not to go to Girona. Thank you for the friends who were traveling 200 kilometers to arrive over that, to stay here today, and to go back home late, and tomorrow you remember you have to go at 8 at school, because this is our work every day. Other people from 4,000, 3,000? Okay, 2 partners. Why this table? The idea was, I suppose, the biggest part of us, we were in another conference, in other seminars, in other places talking about Erasmus+, or in other times talking about Socrates or Comenius or Grundtvig or other European programs. At the end, the European Union, they took from the university this brand that they create, because I think if you ask to the people, do you know what was Comenius? I suppose he will be thinking about someone that in one day at the school talking about history, someone talked about this name. But if you ask about Erasmus, the biggest part of the people will remind that it's something related with the universities, the students traveling, maybe this baby boom, maybe that girlfriend, that boyfriend. If you ask me, I have to say, in my case, as father, that was true. And it was in Coimbra. It was the consequence of one Erasmus in Coimbra. That's true. And this is the Europe we have. And maybe from here we will be working together, and who knows how it will be. I have to say that after 32 years working in adult schools, primary school and secondary school, maybe it's the first time that I am in an event sharing conference experience with primary, secondary, professional teachings and university. We are talking about transmedia, we are talking about technology, but the first that I think we have to change in our minds is, or all of us are working together on the same way, or we will not find solution to the problems that we have every day. The resources we have are amazing. I remember first time I asked to copy something at my school. I remember that machine that we have to be there. I suppose the ones who are over 50, you remind that. Okay, now we have amazing systems to do that. But if we don't change our minds, I think we will be doing the same for more and more and more years. The question is not the resources. The question is how to do, how to work, and how to trade what we have in front of us. Our students is the same if they are 1 or 20 years old. It's the same. We are working together. You cannot imagine a factory saying, okay, my problem is the wheels, my problem is the windows, and my problem is the electricity system. No, it's the same car. It's the same student. Let me tell you why this table. We started about a key A219 coordinate for a primary school with secondary schools involved, the one from Cyprus. KA1 from Livorno talking about training activities for teachers, not only students. We need to learn how to do. And maybe the best is we are involved in this K1 to come, to travel, to visit, to stay 1 week living what is happening there, what are they doing, the other professionals, the other colleagues. KA219 from La Miquela Bescanó is a bilateral project. Erasmus at the university, maybe all of us, we knew what's that, because it's the same that happens when we were talking about other projects. Erasmus, by the university, we know. We have reference about that. If we ask what is a KA219 bilateral, okay, bilateral I can, but 219, if you are not involved in this world, is not easy. Our project is a key 01. I have to say that, if I am not wrong, it was the first in Catalonia coordinate for a secondary school. We had in 2014 8 or 9, but the other ones were from the universities, foundations, private companies, but the only one coordinate for a secondary school in Catalonia was this, the Transmedia, our project. In Spain, if I am not, the numbers are not wrong, we had 21 projects in 2014, and only three of 21 are being coordinated by secondary schools, one in Arganda del Rey, I think, another one in Benidorm, and this one in Catalonia. Last call, 2015, it was, the first one, it was 21 in Spain, coordinated by different institutions in Spain. Only 3 in the whole country by secondary schools. The second one, 2015, now I'm from Catalonia, I think, about secondary or primary schools. And I think in Spain it was 3 schools. The other were universities, foundation, other institutions. It's only a small idea about how difficult it is to get one of these projects. It's difficult because for the primary or secondary school I am talking about, because we are teachers. We don't have people, staff, working, thinking about how to present, how to ask for projects that we can develop. But the first we don't have is time. And I remember how it was in 2014, and Montserrat and Andrés remember the quantity of calls that everybody were doing, asking, listen, can you tell me to understand the guide? And the problem is not the English, it's not the language, you have translated that, but what does it mean? Because I'm lost, I don't know if I have to do that, and they were, more or less, the same that us. Because it was a project that started maybe before the time to be cooked. It was the first time that it was not July, the time that the European Union announced the selected projects. I remember for us it was 25th of September. It was 2 months, almost 3, lost. Because if you know on July, you can plan everything. The first meeting we had planned on December. Finally, the amount from Brussels arrived on February. We had 6 months working without money from where we had to take the money. But we were working. How, which kind of project, how we did, talking about the making of. We were thinking about a project about new technologies from 2012. 2012, we were in Palamos, we were coordinating another previous project. It was a Comenius with 8 partners. And when we started that project, that everything was organized, from the Institute we were thinking about 2014 for a new project. Because if you want really to have a project that you can have options, you have to think about the project, you have to write about the project, to plan the project, to change many, many things, to improve, to read it, to give to other colleagues, what do you think, what can I change? It was a project, different options we had, but about new technologies. Because the first we had, talking with some friends, they said, listen, with the change about Comenius to Erasmus+, this kind of project that you are thinking now about culture, traditions, it's possible that you will have an amazing project, but you will not have options because it's not on the priorities of the European Union, this kind of projects for the next 7 years. And we changed it. We start about new technologies. We add, someone tell me, listen, try to add this word, this concept to the project. Which one? Transmedia. Trans what? Transmedia. Okay. I suppose the most important goal is that everybody who had contact with this project will know the word. I'm saying to know, not to understand. It will be maybe the second step that we will need. But transmedia now is another K1. I saw that. So it's one step more. We were thinking about this transmedia, new technologies, and at the end, we wrote the title for the project, Transmedia, a new narrative that involves communication and education towards the future classroom. That's all. Without lights, you can imagine. Big title, question. Who will read that will understand our project or not? This was the first worry that we had. Will they know what are we telling about? They understood, I suppose, because we are here. So I suppose it was an idea. I'm going to talk about the project, not about the content of the project. It will be Stella who will do that. Stella is, as they say, the coordinator from the primary school in Larnaca, and is the one who has inside the mind and on the papers all the project, because he's the one who is writing all the minutes from all the meetings, not only the meetings that we were having along this year and a half in 5 different places, and this is the 6th. All the meetings that we had by Skype and other ways. I have to tell you that we have between 30, 40, I don't remember just the number, different minutes. So it means 30, 40 times that the coordinators we met along this time. And she's the one who is writing, and when someone needs something, remember that in the meeting there we agreed about this and that. Can you send me the minute, please? Because I cannot find it. If you have 4 or 5, it's easy, but if you have almost 40, it's a little bit difficult. From the beginning, talking about how it was and not about the content, that it will be Stella who will talk about, telling you now, 1 year and a half after to start to work, the consequence of that. The consequence is that the website that we could control from 12th of February had, it says 17,000. The last checking that I did, it was on lunchtime. It was 2000, it's 1 year and a half ago. It was when we could control how many visits. 2015, it was that. And from that to now, the last number I had is 17,300. No, it was, 300 more or less. From all these countries you can see in blue color. For us, a secondary school, to have a project that this kind of people came to the website of the project with resources we have to send the message, to send, we are here, we are doing that. It's not easy. And to arrive to this quantity of connections, and not only the connections, the quantity of countries. Here you have, there are 105 countries. It's not because the 5 partners where they are connecting and connecting and connecting to add numbers and numbers. 105 countries connect at least one time to our site. This is really, for me, it was a surprise to find here some countries that, like Greeceland, how can an Eskimo or from those small island on the Pacific, you don't have anything better to do than to visit? Go to the beach and forget transmedia, education, and all of that, please. But they are there. The Facebook, we had now, today, the last time I was checking, 1,013. Not bad. Not bad. 1,000 over 1,000, I think, is obviously many of them are from our school, students or parents or teachers. But not only. Twitter is the same. It's more the people who is following the project by Twitter is, we have students, we don't have their students, it's more teachers or professionals that they are working and visiting and following us, and they, when you are sending, or the responsible of the network are sending tweets, we can see who is following, who is retweeting there and saying and commenting. Amazing for us. Amazing to be here organizing this event. Amazing to visit the countries we were. For all of that, for all of those that you can maybe, you don't know, one of the news that from December we knew in the Erasmus rules, there is a news this year, and I am telling you on secret to know. There is one option this year, and I suppose in the future will be the same, that if you have a project that you produce, materials you produce, something that is interesting to offer, to disseminate, you can ask for another extra life. If we are talking about the games extra life, you can get another one. And you can apply for a project for the dissemination of this one. We did it. So who knows if in 1 year we can talk about another meeting to talk about how it was working, this project, around different countries. That is possible. It's new because the Spanish National Agency and the Catalan Department about this project, they send the information. But you know what happens at the schools. Information are arriving and arriving and arriving, and you have to find that one that it's interesting for you. So think about your project, if you have the project. Think about if it's possible for you to ask for this option and choose it. And all of that you are following by streaming. If you don't have project, apply. Remember, March 2017. And we are thinking about next March. And we were thinking about the last one. We applied for 2 projects last March. And I think it's the way that everybody has to follow. I'm not going to give you the phone number to call to the school because someone will kill me at the school, I suppose, taking the phone, saying, no, this is not the place you are asking for. Call to another number. But I can tell you, I suppose Belén will let me discover a small secret. We are thinking about a new project from 2017, 2019, maybe 20, we have to talk about that, with a new project shared with Robert Pratten and his team to have a new Erasmus 201. And I will tell you about the content, but not now. Not now. So the making of this project is difficult. Really, 201 is difficult because you have to, the competition is so difficult. Imagine that we are going tomorrow to our school saying to the students, listen, we are going to make a basketball team and we will play the league. And you send a mail to the NBA saying, we have a team. And someone say, okay. On September I will tell you. And 25th of September you have a mail saying, you are selected. Your next match will be on October with the Celtic or Lakers. Or this is the league that you have to play if you want to ask for a 201. This is my opinion and my experience. But it's not easy. It has to be a strong project, very well thought, with a very good team, to have the security that they will not send the money to nowhere. We have to say, our project has, the amount is 171,000 of euros. I can understand the responsible about that, cannot give this quantity of money if they are not really sure that this money will go to the best. We have a lot of needs at the schools, in the system, and I think they are doing the work on the way they have to do. And we're applying now, but we have not any security about if we will have the project or not, because depends, not only of our project, depends the other ones. If maybe you're going to an exam to get 3 places for teachers, okay, the best of the 300 will be the ones. Okay, you, the one who knows me, you know that if I take the microphone, I can be here until 9 on the night. And maybe now the best is to start to think and to see and to work about the project and about our site and the products we have. Not only to tell you the magnificence of the project, to show you what these 7 teams we were doing along this year and a half, and we are not finishing here, we have work to finish, and the deadline will be 31st of October, so coordinators, you know me, July, you can cancel the flights, forget that island that you were thinking about to go. We have a lot of work to finish. Thank you, Estela.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So, we're going to be talking about the content of this project. It's on, yes? It's on.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on. So, the content. we're going to talk a little bit about the project basics. Now? Yeah, okay, it's okay. Closer, okay. Let me get closer. Okay, so what are the project basics? You know, the aims, of course. The teams who participate in this project, their duties, the transnational meetings and the teaching, learning, training activities that we had. And of course, the products that we have produced, their assessment or their creation, because some of them were created, some of them were found on the internet. And because I don't want to talk abstractly, I want to introduce you to our website, which is this. And here you can find all the details you need to create your own project. All the project is here or will be here by August. It's not finished, of course, every day, not every day, but very often we continuously we upload things here. So,
remember, www.educationtransmedia.com.
I think they can read.
For the other ones that maybe
it's not connected.
The cam is to get time. Maybe the cam is not showing the website. Remember, www.
Okay, it's not connecting. Okay. All right. No? All right. So this is the website. First, you can see the streaming now, but after the Congress, the streaming will be gone, and you will see other things. So, first of all, our aims. Here in the description, you can see the aims of our project. And because the letters are a little bit small, we decided to move forward, to move outside, not forward, to move outside of our small box as teachers. And we decided to look at the bigger picture out there. So our project is not addressed to our schools only. And we have different kinds of institutions. We have a primary school, we have a technical school, we have secondary, a training center, a university. So we are not only applying to these people, we are applying to the education in general in Europe. And you could see from the webpage, not only in Europe. So we wanted to offer to teachers, students, and parents the best knowledge and tools in order to integrate in the best possible way the new technologies in the school. We know, we are teachers, we know that technology in the schools is problematic. Maybe we have the technology but not the knowledge. Maybe we have the knowledge but not the technology. Maybe we have the staff but not, something is missing at the end. So we decided to cover a big part of these missing links. I will not go through all the aims, but this is the basic one. To address teachers, parents, students on how to use technology, to give them tools, to give them material to use in order to make their lives easier in the school. Okay? The project was convened by the following teams, but you already know. Identification here. Okay, these are the partners. So we have Palamos as the coordinator, and we have the University of Girona, the training center from Galatasaray in Portugal, ITI Galilei from Livorno, Italy, another school from Cyprus that it's a secondary school, Pangyprio Lyceum, Hasdeu from Romania, and my school, of course, which is the only primary school in the partnership. And I think this part of the project is one of the strongest points that we had in order to get it. Because we see education as a whole, as a sphere, not as broken parts. This is for primary, this is for secondary, and this is for other areas of education. We see education as a whole. So I think it was one of the strongest points that we had. Okay, so each team had a specific goal to, a specific job to attend to, and each one of the secondary schools hosted, not all the teams hosted one transnational meeting in their own country, and the secondary schools hosted training, teaching, learning activities. Students participating in those activities, and the students had a very important role for us because they were the ones who were testing and assessing the products, the material that we created or that we found on the web. And it was very important for us, that one. So I would like to show you the materials that we created and were found. But first of all, it's important to show the assessment. Because everything that is on this website, everything, all the materials you will find, was assessed not only once, but maybe twice or 3 times. Okay, so we found some applications on the web. It's an example of this one, okay? And we were wondering how to assess a good application. We didn't want it to be like, there are millions of applications out there, millions, really. So we wanted to find the best. We searched the web, and we found this rubric here, which looks like this, and it's called the Harry Walker rubric. It's a rubric that is internationally recognized as an assessment tool for apps. So you can see here the age of the students, and you can see these thematic domains that we took into consideration in order to assess a good app. And each domain had an evaluation mark of 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if one app had all the domains and scored 4, it would have a score of 28. Numbers is not my strong point, but until here I think I can calculate. So 28. The author himself, Harry Walker, said that he couldn't find from the thousands of apps he had evaluated more than 24, the score. So we took this and we said, okay, if we find application scoring from 20 and over, it will be a good app. Okay, so we did that. Then the pedagogical committee of the project, because we have one, created a new rubric in order to assess the assessed applications. And the rubric looks like this. So I know the letters are small, but I will explain a little bit. The committee wrote 10 more domains that an app should have to pass the assessment. Plus, so it's 10. You can see here 10 points. But additionally, they suggested that if the app promotes 21st century skills, like collaborative work, critical thinking, strategic planning and problem solving, creativity, communication, then it would have a plus. So some of our apps have this plus, and you will see. So you can see here approved only by the 10. So this is an extra bonus. And the pedagogical committee gave us this guide, which explains a little bit more their rubric. And they told us that to choose a high-quality app, it has to be an app, not a software, not a program, not anything else. It has to be an app. It means it must be applicable in the mobile devices, Android, Windows, or whatever. It must be free of charge, not to pay for it. It must be easy to find in a store, in all stores, Google Play, iTunes, for Windows, whatever. It must be easy to use. It must provide feedback to the students, because you can imagine a child of 9 using an application, it needs some feedback. Okay, it must not contain prejudices or stereotypes or reflect violence. It was very important. And it had to be applicable to all countries, not only in Cyprus, not in Romania, not only in Italy, in all countries. So this was our guide to choose the apps. But I would like to go back to the website. Here, no. Can you escape? I will minimize. Okay, so here you have the products. First of all, we have created ourselves some safer internet lessons in order to teach our students how to use the internet in a safe way. You have them all here, all that was uploaded. They are in English, but by August, they will be in the languages of the partners. That is Greek, Romanian, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and Catalan. Okay, so you can click and you will find a ready made safer internet lesson. Click one, okay. This is from our school. So you will find here everything. The essential question, this is for posting photos on the web, the reckless posting of photos on the web, how to avoid it. And it's, okay, you have a lot of examples here, but I would like to go to the next, the apps, and you will see the different sections, language, social science, maths, art. I can click maths, maybe. It's only for an example. Show more, you can see, and show more. We have a lot, I think we have 69 apps, and supposedly we will have 100 or about 100. So if you go to one app, let me choose one in random. I think this is from your students, huh? Okay, this app was created by the students of the Romanian school. It was a surprise for us. So if you click on an app, you can see the description, and you can see the score here, 900. You can see the score of each app. And click to the link, and it takes you to the link. And if you use your mobile phone, you will be able to, to download it. Likewise, we have some guides here. They are, and you can see, this will be enriched also. We have created short guides for beginners that can be used in your classroom as a tool. Let's say like Dropbox. It's for teachers, but the teaching application applies for both to students and teachers. It's for teachers who don't know how to use one of these and more that we will have programs pedagogically, let's say. By clicking one, you can see it's a guide for beginners. It's short. It's only 10 pages, I think. I'm showing this because this is the one that my team made. And the most important is this, yes, educational applications of Dropbox. If you don't know how to use Dropbox, you will learn how to create the account, how to upload, how to share, and of course, the most important is how you can use it in your classroom, and you have here some educational applications. So students can begin an assignment in class, save it to Dropbox, and so on and so on. You can find a lot. Okay. I will not ask if everybody knows these guides, these programs, but believe me, there are a lot of teachers who don't know how to create an account on Twitter or on Dropbox, and they are very helpful in your classroom. And these guys will be surely enriched by August. And last but not least, we have found some websites full of material that you can use, like, two images, let's click images. These are websites that you can find photos, images, whatever has to do with image, and they are all under Creative Commons license. So you can use them in your presentations, in your classroom, without asking for permission. And it's very, very useful. And we also have websites about, you can see, images, video, text, music, and sounds. It's always a problem when we have a presentation or our students, and they don't know how to choose an image or some music. Maybe they have problems in the future with that. And the last thing we have here is our useful resources. Also, we found them on the internet. They are full of material that you can use in your classroom, in any subject, and they are also under Creative Commons license. Yeah, some of them were produced by the schools themselves, yes. So these are very common. I think some of them you can recognize, sure. Okay, I think we are running out of time, yes? So, okay, I have to say that too. The Safer Internet lessons and other useful teaching material will be as a teaching unit of 25 lessons uploaded on the Moodle platform that you can find here also on the website. They will be uploaded in the Moodle, 25 sessions on how to teach safer internet, how can I say, safer internet content topics, yes. So each teacher, we decided to put it on Moodle because each teacher can take it from there, adapt it in their level of education, and use it in the classroom as maybe 3 months, 4 months, or 2 months, depends on your schedule, to teach your students. All of these things that we have developed will be uploaded in the partners, in the language of all the partners, and also to the level of each institution. So it will be for primary, for secondary, okay, not for university, but you understand what I mean. Why not? Yeah, why not? I don't know. I think by then they know. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. And I hope the presentation was useful for our website. You can use it, you know, www. Education Transmedia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
For the project. I think that there is, yes, you're right, there is a hard work behind all that, and I think that it will be really useful for many, many, many teachers all over Europe and farther away, let's say. That was the concept, exactly. Well, congratulations for the organization of the Congress as well. It has been a pleasure. I think that for all of us, I think I can talk for all of you. It has been a pleasure for all of us. Thank you for everything. Well, it's time to open the debate. If some of you have some question, is it your turn? Any question? If not, I'm going to begin. So, for instance, I would like to know, yes, yes, I'd like to know, what could you recommend to a school who is maybe thinking about internationalization and opening to the world? Which could be, from your point of view, the first step?
I think that the really first step is to be honest with yourself and analyze clearly what you have and what you are supposed to have. So you have to imagine your school projected in 10 years. No, it's not much because, I mean, transmedia and all these stuff are going very, very fast, but you need to project your situation, your students in 5 years and 10 years and see what is the gap between what you have now and what is going to be. And then honestly say, okay, we have some good stuff, some others not. We have these people, we have also these forces. You need to have a good staff working with you, and you have to be quite aware that it's going to be a hard job. So if you want to take this challenge, you can do that. And after you have analyzed your needs, as we have done, you can see what European projects can offer you, and there are plenty of things. And you need to have some staff able to read also the project, because what Joseph was saying, that really when Erasmus Plus came, the first time was, what is it? What are we supposed to do? How we can, not because we wanted to have the money for the project, but really, what is the opportunity that this type of project can offer us? And so you have to balance what you have and what you're going to have in the future. And this is a good way to start with. And then be honest with yourself and with the forces you have in your schools. I don't know if it is good enough.
Thank you very much. Some other question? Well, I think that maybe everyone would like to know, and it's just a question to all of you. Which has been the most difficult thing you have had to face? Which is the real challenge? From your point of view, in the project, yes. What has been the most difficult thing that you had to overcome?
One little thing is believe. Believe in it. Believe in the project. Believe that you are the starting point. I mean, without being ambitious, you cannot, good ambition is good. Because otherwise, no other will follow you. This is the point. Just think that you can set the wheel to move. Otherwise, you don't go anywhere.
My most difficult thing that I faced, it was to convince the rest of the school to follow me in this. Thank God I had my colleague Despo, who is a great power in my school, and she's my deputy head teacher, and she believed in this project from the very first thoughts I had. So afterwards, though, after we got approved, it was difficult to convince the rest of the personnel of the school to follow and to make the activities and to help us accomplish this project. What I think is that teachers not only in Cyprus, I believe, in all Europe, they need to be trained in European projects in order to believe in them and to promote them to their students. Otherwise, it's only just maybe 1/5 or 1/4 of the teachers that participate. And I strongly believe that each project would be much more effective if all the teachers and all the students of a school participate.
That the most difficult part is the application form. Please make it shorter. Please. But yeah, it's that.
I have 2 questions to answer. One about the project, about this 201, is the quantity of work that the team, that is the coordinator, has to face. Yeah. Tickets, hotels, everything, because at the end, all the bills or the payments go to the coordinator. The money comes to the coordinator, of course, too, but the quantity of hours that your team, your colleagues at the school have to spend with to be sure that everything is on the place has to be. As coordinator, to me, in this project was to mix the different ways that each institution, from primary, secondary, technical studies, university, has about what is the process of to learn. That is not question of age. We have, as I say, the same object from the first day until the last day when they will finish those studies that they will be graduate at the university or in the secondary level or whatever they will arrive. To share a project that the age, the kind of students you have in front of you, and to share the same project from the one who has 6 years or 40 years is not easy, because we understand, each one of us, how we have to work knowing the situation of our students, and it's not the same, but at the end it's the same process, is to learn. And was one question about the organization of this Erasmus Plus, one difference with the previous Comenius, for example. One of the changes that I didn't like and I don't like, and 2 changes. And I suppose there are the reasons to do that. But I prefer the old Comenius, that to involve the students and to travel with the students was an obligation, than this Erasmus Plus, that to travel with the students has to be a need. You need a reason to travel with the students. I remember maybe 10 years ago, a meeting here with someone from the agency talking about what the Erasmus Project for Education were a good option for the school. Because one of the first goals was to create that feeling that to be sharing the same space, to create that European mentality, to share that it's the same from where you are coming, to feel that you are an European. And the example was so easy. I remember the one who came saying, listen, imagine the feeling that I have is the European Union thinks that we have too much olive trees, and I have to cut the 100 olive trees that my grandfather had. For me, the European Union will be those kind of devils that make me to cut those trees. Imagine the difference with the parents that we can send, because the European Union are planning about projects to get the money to do that, to send to France, England, Malta or whatever they want to go with a project. It will be those ones who let us to send for 5 days, 1 week, our son, our daughter to share with other students and to have in my house this one too, this other one, his colleague, her colleague. This is one difference that I don't like with the new Erasmus+. We have to think about how to involve the students to do something. But for me, the most important was for the students and for the teacher to share the experience, to meet. I know that the new technologies offer us to share meetings by Skype or other ways, but this contact, to be 1 week sharing the house is not the same. And the difference about the project was that how to understand that it's the same project without difference from the kind of teaching level that you are working. The other, for the Spanish National Agency, we lost, in Catalan you will understand me and I will translate, that I said, Mercat de Calaf. What was the Mercat de Calaf? Calaf is a village here in Catalonia. It was those meetings that from Brussels they organize in different cities in Europe, that you could go there with your table to show the project that you are looking for other partners. Or you could go there to look for projects. And each one of the candidates from different countries, they offer their project, and you can check this and this and this. We don't have that. So how can you find project? How can you find partners? I know it, twinning, I know, but it's not the same, the personal contact. These two changes for me, we lost. We lost in this space of personal contact.
Thank you very much. Probably it's true that we lost something, but I think that we also gained a lot of things. We are here coming from different sectors, and we can do many, many great things together. And despite we are working in a school, in a university, in a company, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that all of us are involved in education, and all of us are worried about how to improve all that. Thank you very much. Congratulations again to all of you, and to all of those who are following us through streaming. Come and join us. Thank you.